So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to talk about one of the greats, one of the veterans of hip-hop, Raekwon the Chef, dropping his brand new album FILA, which is an acronym for Fly International Luxurious Art. It recently just dropped on April 28th under his independent label, Ice H2O. You know, before this review, I listened to it, 4 or 5 times, and I really think it's a solid overall project. I rock with about like 95% of the album, which again, like I said before, if you like over 6 or 7 tracks of the album, I think it's a pretty good body of work. Raekwon is just so impressive because to have been in the game since, 93, 94, and still put out quality music, quality albums, is phenomenal. So let's talk about a few of my favorite tracks. So when you first start listening to the project, after the intro, the first official song is called 4 in the Morning. It's definitely a great opening track, really displaying again, as I said before, just the flow and the delivery of Raekwon. It doesn't sound dated, sonically it just works. It's produced by Scram Jones, who's worked with Ray before and other projects. He also did a lot of stuff for Wu-Tang Clan. I mean, his resume is flawless, so definitely a good collaboration between these two. The song also features longtime collaborator Ghostface Killah. I've always said that I think Ghostface Killah is one of the top storytellers in hip-hop, if not the best. Just his delivery, and it paints a picture for you while you're listening to them rap. However, I did notice that Ghostface Killah's voice sounds a little different than before. I don't know if there's something with the effects or it's a little deeper or raspy, I don't know, but it's very noticeable. But once you get past that and really listen to the lyrics and what he's saying, you definitely can tell it's still the Ghostface Killah we've grown to love. One of my next favorite songs of the album is called I Got Money, featuring A$AP Rocky. This is a banger, you know what I'm saying? Like, if there's no other songs of the album that you rock with, that you can vibe to, it would definitely have to be this song is a standout. It was produced by S1, who I believe is still signed to Kanye's production team. He's worked really closely with Kanye, Beyonce, Jay, and a few other big names. It also features Harlem's own A$AP Rocky. It's kind of surprising to me. If you'd asked me about a year ago, would I hear A$AP Rocky or Raekwon on a track together, I probably wouldn't have, thought about it like that, but it really works with the song. One of the things that really stood out to me was A$AP's rhyming pattern on the song, how he's weaving out of the flow and the delivery. I think it was pretty cool, considering that he's rhyming with a hip-hop veteran, A$AP Rocky really holds his own. I also love the piano riffs of the production and the beat. It reminds me a little of Still DRE by Dr. Dre, just kind of the West Coast sound a little bit, but still having those like New York drums that really knock. Then we get to the track Wall to Wall featuring French Montana. I personally think French Montana added that really catchy hook, catchy verse. A lot of people hate on French Montana for some reason. I know he's not considered one of the, top lyricists in the game. He's not all lyrical, miracle, spiritual, but I mean, in terms of like party club music, he provides some catchy stuff. This track also has another longtime collaborator, Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes always sound really great together. I don't think they've ever did an album together, but yeah, I don't think they did an album together, but they should. They definitely should soon, like a mixtape project or something. So they have really great chemistry. I think that would be dope. In terms of this track, it was produced by She the God and Snaz. Again, club banger, radio banger, street banger. Definitely one of my favorites on the album. So another standout track. I think this is probably my favorite beat on the album. Right now, that could change. So right now is 1212 featuring Snoop Dogg. And this song definitely feels like 94, 95, produced by Scoop DeVille, who's worked with Snoop Dogg and Jay-Z. He actually did that I Wanna Rock Right Now, the remix. And besides just the beat, it just feels really good to hear 2 veterans in the game, Raekwon representing the East, Snoop Dogg from the West, really going back and forth on a song that knocks right now today. So you may not have seen that, 20 years ago, back when things were heated, the whole East Coast, West Coast beef. But to see that now, I think it's a beautiful thing. I also love the piano melody and how it changes up on Snoop Dogg's second verse. It has that same melody of the Mary J. Blige, I know you can hear me now, for the record, I love you. You know what I'm saying? Little vocals, but that's what it reminds me of. Again, just timeless music. Then we get the Soundboard Killer featuring Melody Fiona and Assassin. It was produced by the legendary Jerry Wonder, who's worked with everyone from the Fugees to Mary J. Blige. Great B-boy beat. Again, block party, block party New York music. I can hear this at a festival, at a party. It's also really great hearing Melanie Fiona on the hook, her harmonies. I kind of just love the whole feel, the whole soul of the record. Another dope collaboration track on this project is called Revory. It features The Boss, Rick Ross, and Ghostface. The song is very soulful. Just listening to it, you feel like you're watching an old mafia movie from Harlem. And it's beats like these where Raekwon really shines with his vocabulary and his flow. Same thing with Rick Ross. When I listen to a Rick Ross project, to me, the songs that really stand out have this type of production on it. And last but not least, one of my other favorites on this record was called Nautilus. I hope I'm saying it right. When I was reading the track listing at first, I thought I said like Nautica. I was like, okay, he got FILA, Nautica. He's trying to bring it back for real. And with this, it's almost the same thing as Soundboy Killer. Again, just that time traveling effect where you hear a song and you're thinking like it's 92, 93. So again, another crazy joint. Love the delivery, love the storytelling, dope. So overall, I was really digging this project. Again, kudos to Raekwon for being able to be current as a legend without sounding dated, but not really conforming his style to sound like everybody else. There was only really 2 songs on the album that I felt was a little left compared to the rest of the songs, and that was FILA World featuring 2 Chainz. The beat just didn't, I didn't feel like it matched the theme of the album. Maybe it has to grow on me. You never know. Also, the Worst Enemy track, which was cool. I like Raekwon's lyrics. His lyricism, is on point. But the drums, like, it almost messed up my head now. Like, I want to, get my head knot on, and then the drums would stop, and I'm like, okay. Then it was kind of off. The drums was off. But again, other than that, an exceptional project. If you're a true hip-hop head, if you're a fan of Raekwon, or not, a fan of Raekwon, just a fan of lyricism and a fan of something that's different than what you hear on the radio, definitely check this album out. So thanks again, guys, for watching. I post new videos every Tuesday and Wednesday on music reviews, music business discussions, relationships, motivation. You can find them all here at youtube.com/BMOCTV. Please subscribe, or BMOC.TV. Also, if you enjoyed this video, check out my last 2 reviews. One was on the top 15 female MCs of all time, a very thorough breakdown and analysis. The other was a full review of F.I.L.A's new album, The Album About Nothing. So thanks again for watching. I'm BMOC. Peace.